It's time to take command with former NFL tight end Logan Paulson and former Commanders beat reporter Craig Hoffman.
And then now we're at 16, Logan, and the board has fallen in a terrible way for Washington in a draft that is not allowing trades.
Right. So I think ideally you want to trade back, right? But if I'm here, I'm ecstatic because I can pick Deontay Banks, and I think that's the pick here. I think a lot of people would say Joey Porter Jr.
Okay.
I have Deontay Banks a little bit ahead of him because I think he's a little bit more scheme agnostic, right? I think he can play a little bit more zone. I think he can play man. I think he's got kind of the plus athletic upside. I think he ran a 4.38 at the combine. He's got a 41-inch vertical. He's got an 11-foot broad jump, and he's never really out of phase. Now his ball skills get me a little bit worried, right? I don't think he has elite ball skills in tracking the football down the field, but he is in phase with he's always in phase with the receiver, and even when he gets beat, he has the recovery speed to get there. Joey Porter Jr., on the other hand, I think is a little bit more of a project. Now he's a freak. I already made the Trayvon Walker comparison. Like, that's kind of what you're looking at. He's got 34-inch arms playing corner. That's like tackle length. He looks like a freaking praying mantis out there. He's a man corner kind of exclusively, not a great tackler, but his upside is very, 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 very high. And so I think that's the only reason. Like, if we're in a draft room and you're pounding the table for Joey Porter, the only thing that's going to sell me is you think he's got higher upside. But in terms of being a better pro today, Deontay Banks is significantly better. So
yeah,
that's
and he's also got freakish athletic ability. Like those numbers you rolled off, 4.38, 41-inch vert, 11-foot broad. Like, those are elite numbers. So it's not like from an athletic standpoint he doesn't have what it takes.
And he's not a small guy. He's 6'11 and a half, 6 foot, or no, 5'11 and a half, 6 foot.
He's actually an NBA player playing corner.
And he's like 195, 200 pounds. So he's a big guy for a corner with great movement skills. He's a little, and again, this is some of my bias, a little bit more physical as a tackler. And when I'm evaluating corners and it's hard to separate guys, that's usually the separating piece for me is, are they going to put their face in there? Because that means they love football. And he does that, talks a lot of smack. This is not an indictment of Joey Porter in any way. If you have to pick, that's where I'm going.
What about Levis?
I think if Levis falls to here, this is good for Washington because I think Tampa Bay might trade up with you. And I think if you can get back to 19 and pick up another second or third round pick, you're dancing for joy, right? I do think you consider Levis 100%, but I think Deontay Banks is the play here. They might have a really high grade on Will Levis. He might be their second quarterback. If that's the case, you take him. You just you just don't even think about it. You take him because that's you got to trust your evaluations. But from a need standpoint, from a player standpoint, I think you feel pretty good about Deontay Banks.
Yeah, no, I think that if this is the way the board falls, this is a 100% trade back situation because there's so many players that are kind of in the same bucket that you probably like, Banks, Porter Jr. potentially, Kincaid, like all these guys are going to be there and available for you at night, or some of these guys, I should say, are going to be there and available for you at 19. However, with the way we're doing this particular mock, pick is in, he a Terp, he's not going very far. Deontay Banks gets to keep playing in the state of Maryland. He's the pick for the Commanders at 16. Giants on the board at 25. They could obviously use some receiver help. They could use some interior offensive line play.
Who's the best receiver on the board right
now? Nick, you can sort by position if you go back up. They've got Josh Downs out of wide receiver.
So I would say this would be this is way too, but I think Tippmann here, the center guard from where's he from? Tippmann. Can we look him up real quick? Tippmann, God bless it. From Wisconsin? Yeah.
Yeah.
He is.
It's all the Big Ten guys. I was like, Whippler, no, he's Ohio State.
Yeah. So Tippmann to me is better than Schultz from Minnesota. Like, he's the best.
Schmitz, yeah.
Schmitz. He's the best, probably swing guy inside. And if you're looking for a center that's going to be excellent in terms of what they do, I think this is a better fit. Like, I'm a little bit down on Schmitz the more I watch him. I think he's a good football player, but I think he's more of a second-round player. I think Joe Tippmann, because of the position flexibility, is probably where I would go if I'm looking for an interior offensive lineman, with center, with the ability to play center. Like, obviously O'Cyrus Torrence is my best guard, but he can only play guard. So it's kind of like this feels like the right direction here now. And, I feel bad not mentioning O'Cyrus Torrence earlier. It's funny how drafts go, but there's got to be the right fit. You know what I mean? And players start to fall. And so I would go here. I would go Tippmann here for New York.
All right, let's do it. And then the Cowboys.
It's like the stars aligned for this, didn't it?
Yeah, Bijan Robinson. Like, they lose Zeke. They get the best back in the draft. He's from Texas. I mean, you could go Breesy here and get some interior help on that D line, but like, I would just go Bijan. And
yeah, I mean,
you're welcome, Dak.
Feels like such a Dallas pick. I'm a little surprised, honestly, that we still have Broderick Jones and Anton Harrison on the board. Like, I wouldn't take them here, but
I think that's also due to the fact, though, that like we haven't had the trades down, right?
That's true.
If you are at 23 with Minnesota, you trade up to 16 with Washington to take whoever.
Yeah.
Then Washington's taking a tackle at 23.
Right. Yeah. That's a good point.
I think that's like, this draft is going to look silly once and maybe we'll do another one, or when we do our next one, we'll unlock the trades and I think that.
Like, I think, yeah. So yeah, Bijan Robinson for sure here.
Okay, let's go Bijan, and then let's wrap up these last 5 picks. Thanks for watching this clip of Take Command. First, why don't you like it? It lets other people know that it was good, and then they should watch it too. And Logan, we have a new exclusive home for full episodes.
We do. 1067 The Fans YouTube page. Go check it out and please subscribe.
Yeah, do what Logan said.
Do it.
Very, very smart.